Because Summerhill was on a government hit list. Ofsted had the school in its sights for the best part of a decade, and this year, you decided to go for the jugular and shut it down.
I object, Your Honour. This is conjecture.
Robertson, please.
The school was to be watched. It was on a hit list and had been for 9 years. Mr. Wharton, why was the school not told about this?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Well, happily, I am sure. The answer is because it was a secret. A secret.
Watch out!
Reference, Your Honour, is page 233. Summerhill to remain TBW. An internal Ofsted letter dated 1993.
On guard.
All of which means, Your Honour, that Summerhill was on a hit list way before 1993.
Your Honour, it wasn't a hit list.
Then, fed up when their endless year-in, year-out inspections weren't having the desired effect,
Pure conjecture.
Ofsted sent in a team of 8. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's one inspector for every 7 pupils in the school to close it down.
Prove it.
Watch me.
Surely the school had a fundamental right to know why they were being subjected to this level of surveillance?
I agree it would have been desirable.
Mr. Wharton, be honest. Ofsted wanted to close Summerhill down. You decided on a game of sudden death, didn't you?
I'm not sure I follow.
By forcing Summerhill to do something you knew they would never agree to, making lessons compulsory, you thought you could strike it from the register of schools. I submit, Your Honour, if I may be so bold, that this is what you had in mind from the moment you set foot in the school. This was the game in hand.
My learned friend is making all this up.
Am I? Who's making what up?
Take advice!
It'll just be adjourned for an hour.
There is a press. Give me that.
Give me the back.
What?
There's a press all 24, I'm sure.
Geoffrey. The Secretary of State has decided he'd like to take the pressure off Summerhill just a little.
Feel like surrendering? Ha. You're giving up before I cut your head off.
Will you take your seats, please?
Miss James.
The Secretary of State has offered Mrs. Redhead an out-of-court agreement.
This has been accepted?
Mrs. Redhead can't make that decision for the school. The community has to decide whether to accept or to continue with the case. They need to hold a school meeting in here, if that's accepted.
With respect, Your Honour, I...
Of course.
Thank you, Your Honour.
Your chair this week.
And your secretary. So what do we do now? Vote to let them stay. Excuse me, sir. But visitors aren't allowed in our meetings. We have to vote on whether we let them, you, stay.
Of course. Please.
Go on, Stella. There is one case for the special meeting today. But first, I propose we let the visitors stay to see how we do things. All those for the proposal? All those against? Then it's carried. You're all invited to stay. Thanks. Zoe, what does the agreement say?
The Secretary of State recognises that this independent school, based as it is on the writings and systems of A.S. Neil, has a right to its own philosophy. Now, this is really important because what it's saying is that we don't have to do things the government's way.